Hi, Killer Writers! I'm Zara Altair, and this is Write a Killer Mystery, where we learn to make a good mystery great. And today I wanted to talk about why writers need to read. It's so important. And basically, reading feeds writing. As a writer, you tell stories and play with language, and reading other writers expands your writing experience by exposing you to ways other writers have done the same thing. Reading helps you to refine your craft to become a better writer. Your insight and creativity grow as you read. You were probably inspired to write your mystery by reading. That's usually how people start. Before you wrote that first story idea, you gained experience in how a mystery is constructed and how characters interact and how clues are planted by reading other mysteries. And if you decided to write to market in the mystery genre because the market's steady and broad, reading will help you understand what readers want. So it's really important if you're just getting started with the mystery genre. A cook learns new skills by trying new recipes, and a musician studies the techniques of other musicians, and they practice. And that's exactly what happens with writers. Reading other writers inspires you with new ways to write. And it's kind of like osmosis. I call it the osmosis of reading. Much of what we writers learn from reading happens in an unconscious way. And although you may consciously notice a phrase or how a character acts, or the benefit of reading enriches our understanding without conscious acknowledgement. This happens so frequently, and without knowing all the neurological details of how it works, it does work. And so also unconscious learning happens as we read more books. So reading a wide variety of books inside your genre and outside your genre creates lasting impressions and a sense of what makes good writing and an enjoyable book, because that's what we all want to write, right? A book that readers really enjoy. So reading every day is part of a reader's life, and without it, your writing will stagnate. The variety of skills and techniques you learn grows as you read. So let's look at some of the ways, specific ways, that reading can help you with your writing. And first of all is vocabulary. So a strong, nuanced vocabulary comes from knowing and understanding a wide spectrum of words, so that when you get to a point in your writing, you have a good idea of what word to use, and you're not really thinking about it very much, because words are the basis of telling a story. I mean, without words, we can't tell a story. So understanding words gives you the power to exploit the connotations of words. Your sentences come alive with verbs that illustrate action, and you build connotations and overtones into your subtext. You also learn when writing is right. You can take a lesson from good writers, and I think we all do that when we're reading. You read a book you can't put down, and you're drawn into the story with characters or plot, and sometimes even the writing itself. I know for me, reading A Gentleman in Moscow, the writing was so incredibly wonderful. I couldn't stop reading. I just couldn't stop reading. And so you see what's effective when it comes to voice and sentence structure and story development, and you can imitate what you find to improve your writing. And the opposite side of that coin is you discover when writing goes wrong. When you stop reading, it helps you understand where stories get stuck. You notice when you're pulled out of a story. And I think as writers, we can take it a step farther and look at why we're pulled out of a story. Your general reader's just going to stop, put down the book, and may or may not come back. But for us, we can notice what it is that pulls us out of the story. So is it the story logic, or does a character act out of character and we just don't understand why that particular character did a certain action? And are you bored by the syntax? In other words, is the vocabulary and the sentence structure just like makes you nod? And did you stop reading a mystery because the villain was obvious early on in the story? And does the story premise offend you? That can happen too. So think about all those things as you're reading, because those are the things you want to avoid in your writing. And whether you put the book down for a few minutes or forever, subconsciously you're learning how a story is ineffective. And you can practice ways to avoid those ineffective measures in your own writing. Another way reading helps you is knowing your market. And for us, it's the mystery genre, right? When you read books in your genre, especially bestsellers, you can gain an understanding of what readers appreciate. And this is really important because without readers, we're dead in the water. You'll gain an understanding of where your book fits in the market, because within mysteries there are a lot of subgenres, and even those subgenres have certain tropes. So you'll learn what readers like within your genre, and you'll discover new ideas for your story, and you'll have a better understanding of what readers respond to in the market. And then reading is also inspiration. Reading creates thought, and you'll gather fresh ideas for your writing, because fiction gives us ideas for characters and plot twists and planning clues and how to integrate theme into the story. And also, as far as inspiration goes, don't overlook non-fiction books in your reading, because you will also have fresh insights into society and social norms and politics and even hobbies that inspire you to represent your theme or to create character motivation and give skills to your characters. And another thing reading does is it improves your focus and concentration. And boy, do we want that as writers. So focus and concentration are skills just like any other, like playing a musical instrument or mastering a sport or learning knife skills for the kitchen. The more you practice, the better you become. And when you sit down to write, you definitely want clear focus and the ability to concentrate on your reading. So reading helps you hone those skills. It's kind of a win-win. So also reading, this is where it's on a more conscious level. Reading helps us study our craft skills. When you read as a writer, you'll learn to read objectively. It's fun to get into the story, and I know I do this, and when a good story draws you in, you may want to reread that story from an objective writer's viewpoint, because you're going to examine, what is it that's so good about this book? What is it that keeps you reading? You want to examine the overall story structure and notice plot twists that head the story in a new direction. And And how do they write? Are the scenes short or long? And how does that work in the story? And how does the author manipulate the story to achieve a satisfactory climax? And how are the subplots woven into the story? You're going to do this consciously, but as you keep reading as a writer, you'll notice that you start doing these things automatically. You really start noticing all the things that happen in the story you're reading. So, to expand your mind and improve your craft, reading improves your writing, and you learn to recognize good writing both consciously and unconsciously. And as a writer, you'll start to notice not just when a story doesn't work, but why. And you recognize those story symptoms in your writing so you can fix them, which is just great. And also, as you keep reading and keep doing and keep noticing, you notice as you start to do one of those things while you're writing, you'll go, oops, nope, gotta redo this, gotta reframe it, gotta make this character clear, whatever it is. You'll know as you're writing how to improve your story. So reading is your path to improving your writing. And now I have an exciting announcement. Audible is a sponsor for Write a Killer Mystery, and I'm just thrilled about this. It was a long process and took, well, it was over a month from the time I applied to and jumped through all the hoops till the time I got my notice. So I'm very excited about that because you can listen to audiobooks when you're away from your desk doing other things, and you're still gaining that knowledge that reading gives you. And also, Audible isn't just audiobooks. They have podcasts to improve your life and interviews with writers. So if you haven't experienced Audible, you can click the link below and get a free book and a 30-day free trial to help you experience Audible as a new way to read. All right. Thank you. I hope this helps, and I hope you're reading every day, and I will see you next time.